Heartwarming confession revealed just minutes before wedding. What this millionaire did next is incomprehensible. As the sun poured golden light through the stained glass windows of the Maplewood church, Jake Miller felt his heart swell with love and anticipation. Today, he was marrying Lily, the love of his life. The scent of fresh flowers filled the air, mingling with the warmth of the gathered community, all dressed in their Sunday best, and he couldn't help but smile. He could already picture their life together, filled with laughter and simple joys, fixing cars in the garage, sharing meals with family, and dreaming big in their little town. But minutes before he and Lily were supposed to say, "I do," a shadow loomed at the door, jolting the joyous atmosphere. Jake's estranged father, a businessman known for his cold demeanor and towering wealth, strode in, his arrival like a thunderclap shattering a peaceful afternoon. The congregation gasped. Whispers rippled through the crowd, curiosity and confusion evident in every exchanged glance. Where had he been all these years? Had he come to ruin everything? Jake's heart raced. Memories of his father's absence twisted in his chest, a chaotic mix of anger and longing. The townspeople watched, each face reflecting a blend of concern and hope. Foreboding mingled with the spirit of community. What would this mean for Jake? For Lily? For everyone? As the tension swirled, Jake's father cleared his throat. "I have something to say," he announced, the weight of those words bringing silence to the room. "I spent years believing that wealth equated to happiness, that I could buy my son's love by providing for him. But I see now." He hesitated, pain evident in his eyes. "I see now I was wrong. I only drove him away." Jake's heart raced in his chest. Those words felt like shards of glass, cutting through the hopes he'd built about their relationship. Could he forgive the man who had abandoned him? Cold memories of his childhood flared up. Late nights alone, watching his friends' fathers play catch while his own was miles away, choosing money over family. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The atmosphere crackled, electric with uncertainty. "There's an opportunity," his father continued, casting a knowing glance at Jake. "With my resources, we could elevate our lives beyond this town. Wealth, security, everything you ever wanted. You wouldn't have to work at that old garage anymore." The offer hung thick in the air. Jake's chest tightened. Was it about security, or was he really chasing approval? And what of Lily? She stood by, blending into the white fabric of her dress, eyes wide with concern for him. This wouldn't just change his life. It could alter everything they dreamed together. His mind raced in circles. His father's voice faded as he pleaded for Jake to reconsider his humble path, reminding him of the struggles they faced, the division in their community. The allure of wealth danced like a flickering flame, tempting him, and all those ideals he held close. The loyalty to his roots, the love he felt for Lily and their future together, with his heart pounding and the congregation's breath held in collective anticipation. Jake knew this was his moment to choose. Would he fall into the traps of wealth, risking everything he cherished, or would he cling to the simple joys of love and hard work? The world felt frozen as he opened his mouth, ready to speak the weightiest words of his life. Would love be enough to sustain them, or was he destined to be just like his father? The words hovered at the edge of Jake's lips, paralyzing him with the weight of the decision. He glanced at Lily, her face tight with worry, tears brimming in her eyes, yet resolute in her commitment to stand by him. A wave of warmth came over him as he realized how deep her love ran, a stark contrast to the chill his father had brought with him. Taking a deep breath, he steadied himself. "Dad, I don't want your money." The words were blunt but necessary, breaking through the tension like a thunderstorm releasing rain after a long drought. Gasps echoed through the church. Joy and disbelief danced in the air. "What?" his father said, disbelief contorting his features. "You don't understand. This is a chance for you, an escape. I can give you everything you've ever wanted. No, Jake said firmly, voice growing stronger with each word. I want a life with Lily, a life built on trust and love, things money can't buy. I've worked hard to get where I am. I don't want a shortcut. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, the townsfolk processing the revelation with a mixture of admiration and concern. They had watched Jake grow, seen his struggles, but also his triumphs. He was one of them, a testament to hard work, resilience, and the core values of their community. Jake's father looked stunned, as if Jake had just pulled a rug from under him. You'll regret this, you know. There are risks in poverty, struggles I wish to spare you from, he said, his voice cracking slightly. Dad, struggling is part of growing. I won't run from it. Jake's heart thudded in his chest, his own vulnerability laid bare. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was standing up for Lily, for their future. Lily stepped forward, her soft voice breaking through the tension. Mr. Miller, she said, addressing Jake's father, your son has made his choice, and it's a beautiful one. Love isn't about money or status. It's about connection and trust. He may not choose riches today, but he's choosing loyalty, honesty, our happiness. Jake warmed at her words, feeling a swell of pride wash over him. In this moment, it became clear how aligned their dreams were, how their love had already overcome so much more than wealth ever could. His father's expression flickered, a hint of realization, but it quickly vanished into bitterness. You're throwing away a life many would dream of. He snapped back, though a tremor in his voice betrayed his doubt. No, I'm building the life I want, Jake replied, steady and confident. And that doesn't include wealth if it's coming from someone who doesn't understand what family really means. Silence enveloped the church, tension settling once more like a heavy blanket. Jake locked eyes with his father, searching for understanding, for any glimmer of connection that remained. But deep down, he sensed that the man before him had lived in a world far removed from the warmth and laughter Jake cherished. Jake, think about this, his father urged quietly, desperation creeping into his voice. You can have everything, why would you choose this path? Jake felt the emotional weight anchoring him to the reality. He had crafted a reality bound not by gold, but by the shared moments of joy, laughter, and hard-earned successes. Because I am enough, with or without riches, he whispered, the finality of it setting in like a promise. The congregation shifted, holding their breaths as if they could feel the tides turning in Jake's heart. He felt his mother's spirit beside him, urging him to remain true and to pursue love instead of the hollow grandeur of wealth. Then he turned back to Lily, who was watching him with eyes that glimmered with hope. I love you, he said, the sincerity ringing through the air. I love you too, she replied, her smile lighting up the tension. As their eyes locked, Jake felt lighter, ready to step forward into a future of their making. But would his father accept this choice? Or would he turn away, leaving a chasm between them? The uncertainty hung heavy in the air, a cliffhanger waiting to unfold. What would his father do next? Jake's father stood frozen, his expression a whirlwind of confusion and anger. The murmurs in the church grew louder, the townsfolk exchanging glances, uncertainty clouding the air. Jake felt a bead of sweat trickle down his back, his heart beat loud enough that he felt everyone could hear it. Do you really think love can pay the bills? His father shouted, breaking the fragile silence. What happens when the hardships come? You think your feelings will solve everything? Jake inhaled sharply, knowing his father was right about one thing. Life wouldn't always be easy. It certainly wasn't a fairy tale. But the love he felt for Lily, this unstoppable force, was worth every challenge that lay ahead. It gave him purpose. Maybe, he replied, his voice steady, but they're stronger than money playing pretend. I choose to stand up and fight for what matters. I want my life to mean something. Jake could sense Lily's energy beside him, a comforting presence. She held his hand tightly, her grip a lifeline amidst the storm brewing around them. His father opened and closed his mouth, like a fish out of water. You're so naive. You don't see the world as it is. You're wasting your potential. No, I'm finding it, Jake countered. I'm not just a product of your wealth and influence. I'm here on my own, standing up for what's right for me. The conviction in his words wove through him, a fire igniting inside. The tense air crackled, the townspeople leaned closer, their breaths mingling with anticipation. This wasn't just a father-son confrontation. It was a battle over dreams, values, and a future. "Is this really what you want?" his father challenged, eyes narrowing. "To live in disappointment? To struggle?" "Not at all," Jake admitted. "But I'd rather struggle with someone I love than live comfortably alone." Jake's father turned slightly, as if he were wrestling with the weight of reality. Perhaps he'd never truly considered the depth of connection over capital. "A life without luxury is a hard one, son," his father finally said, quieter now. "Dad, I know you want to protect me," Jake said softly, guilt threading through him. "But you can't live my life for me. I have to choose my own path, however difficult it may be." Jake watched as pain flickered across his father's face, emotions flaring up, a mix of fear and anger, but maybe something else, something softer. In that moment, Jake realized they were both scared. His father feared the outcome of a life without money, while Jake feared never embracing the life he truly wanted. The silence that followed felt almost sacred, binding them in their shared uncertainty. "It doesn't have to be this way," his father said hesitantly, a note of pleading creeping into his voice. "Maybe it does," Jake insisted, holding his gaze. "Maybe this is the only way we can find out how to build a connection, my own way of showing you that love is what guides me here." Lily gave Jake's hand a reassuring squeeze, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Together, they stood tall against whatever awaited them. Suddenly, in the back of the church, a figure emerged, a woman in a long coat, face hidden under a hood. She stepped toward them, tension rippling through the air as the congregation turned to watch. The world seemed to pause, the noise from outside muted, creating a bubble of suspense. The hooded figure looked straight at them with an emotional intensity that felt almost palpable. Jake's heart raced. Who is she? What was she doing here? The congregation shifted, whispering in surprise as Jake took a step forward, feeling an invisible pull toward this mysterious woman. His mind raced with questions, but one loomed larger than the others. What would her presence reveal about his family? As Jake's gaze locked with hers, his breath caught in his throat. This was no ordinary visitor. Her appearance felt like a thunderstorm brewing, electric with promise and tension. What story was about to unfold? The woman took another step forward, the soft light catching the fabric of her coat. Jake's eyes widened as he recognized the delicate details of her attire, a hint of elegance amidst the chaos. There was something familiar about her, something that sent shivers down his spine. "Who are you?" Jake managed to ask, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm here to speak the truth," she said, her tone steady yet laced with urgency. "About your family, Jake. About your past." The murmurs in the church escalated, a chorus of speculation filling the air. Everyone leaned in as if they could catch a hint of the revelations hanging thick like fog. "Enough," Jake's father barked, anger piercing through his earlier uncertainty. "This is not the time or place for your nonsense. Leave now, or I'll call the police." But the woman remained undeterred. "You don't understand. What I have to say could change everything." She looked directly at Jake, her eyes boring into his with an intensity that made him feel exposed. Jake hesitated, torn between loyalty to his father and the need to uncover the truth. There was a heaviness in his heart. What could this woman possibly reveal that would threaten the fabric of his family? "Please, let her speak," Lily urged, her voice a warm pull amidst the tension. His father's jaw clenched, but the crowd's interest swayed him. "Fine," he snapped. "Make it quick." The woman drew a deep breath. "Jake, what I'm about to tell you, it's about your mother. She didn't leave because she wanted to. There was a secret, a choice thrust upon her." Jake's stomach twisted into knots. The memories of his mother were clouded, a patchwork of love mixed with shadows of abandonment. "What do you mean?" "She had to protect you," the woman continued, stepping closer. "From the truth of your lineage. A lineage filled with darkness that could destroy everything you've built." "Darkness?" Jake pushed away the surge of anger at her implication. "Why are you doing this? What is your connection to all of this?" "I'm the one who knew your mother. I promised her I would look out for you, that if the time came, I would come to reveal the truth. The room fell deathly silent. You could almost hear a pin drop. The emotions swirling inside him felt like a tempest: rage, confusion, betrayal. Why would she keep me in the dark? She did it to shield you from pain, the woman replied softly. But now, the web of lies is threatening to explode. You have a choice now, Jake. A choice to embrace the truth or let it consume you. Jake's heart raced, the weight of her words pressing down harder than ever. What truth lay beneath the surface? And his mother, had she really done this all to protect him? His father's face flushed with anger, but Jake barely noticed, his gaze locked with the hooded woman. What is the secret? He demanded, desperate for clarity. Everything will be revealed in time, she replied, her voice a low whisper as she became shrouded in the tension. But for now, you will have to decide if you want to pursue this path. You may find that nothing is what it seems. Just then, the church bells began to toll, slicing through the heavy silence. Each chime echoed like a countdown, signaling that the moment of reckoning was near. As feelings swirled like a turbulent ocean within him, Jake glanced at Lily. She was frightened yet resolute, and in that gaze, he found strength, the determination to face whatever truth awaited him. Mom, what secrets have you hidden? He thought, the question hanging in the air like a dark cloud. Each heartbeat felt heavier, the air thicker. Are you ready to confront your past, Jake? The woman pressed, her gaze unyielding. Jake's answer was just on the tip of his tongue when his father shouted, "Enough. We're leaving. You're not going to unravel our family here." But Jake stayed rooted, torn between his loyalty and his growing desire for answers. What lay beyond the revelations of his mother? And who else would be affected by the truth that was about to surface? With the realization that his life was about to change forever, Jake took a deep breath. Would he have the courage to face the shadows? The tension in the air felt electric, a charge that pulled everyone closer to the unfolding drama. Jake's heart raced as he stood at the crossroads of his life, heat from the crowd pulsing against his skin like a living thing. His father's anger emanated like a dark cloud, but the woman's words sparked something bright within him, a flicker of hope. Maybe, or was it the desire for truth? Just as Jake opened his mouth to respond, a voice broke through the tension. Jake, please, Lily said, her eyes wide with concern. You can't just dismiss what she's saying. What if it's real? What if it matters? Jake turned to her, his mind swirling with conflicting emotions. But what if it destroys everything? Maybe it's already shattered, Lily pushed back gently, moving closer. You deserve to know your mother's story, no matter how painful it might be. As the bells of the church echoed, signaling the passing of time, Jake felt an unexpected shift within. His fingers brushed against the fabric of his sleeve, grounding him amidst the storm of voices. Was this fear or something else? Perhaps a long-suppressed anger at being kept in the dark. He looked back at the woman, her gripping gaze still holding him captive. Okay, he said slowly, each word heavy with meaning. Tell me everything. The murmurs in the room quieted. The woman's expression softened, her urgency replaced with careful deliberation. Your mother, Jake, she was part of a world that you can't even begin to imagine. One that forced her hand into unimaginable choices. She married into a family filled with secrets that extend far beyond her could ever share. But she loved you enough to keep you away from its darkness. Jake's teeth clenched. What does that mean? Who is she really? The question begged for an answer, tearing at him with fierce intensity. The family you know isn't the one you think you belong to, she said softly. Behind those walls is a power struggle, a history soaked in blood. And she feared that the shadows would reach you too. Jake's breath caught in his throat. Everything he'd known began to swirl away, painted over by something darker than he could have imagined. Fear. Betrayal. If what she said was true, how could he ever trust anything again? In that crushing moment, Jake felt a wave of nausea rise. It lurched upward, making him dizzy. You're telling me I'm not who I thought I was? Not entirely, she replied, uncompromising. But it doesn't take away from who you are today. It's merely a part of your heritage, your lineage. You can choose to embrace it or cast it aside, but you must choose wisely before it chooses for you. His father's deep voice broke through the haze. This is madness. You don't have to listen to her, Jake. She's just what? Jake shot back, meeting his father's eyes. Just a stranger? Just a liar? She might be the only one left who holds the answers. Silence gripped the room once more, as chaos receded to stunned quiet. Everyone seemed to hold their breath, teetering on the edge of revelation. What's wrong, Dad? Jake pressed, searching his father's face for answers. Are you worried the truth might ruin the perfect image you've painted? Or is it simply that you're afraid of being exposed? His father's face twisted with anguish, the clock's ticking echoing loudly. You don't know what you're asking, son. You don't understand. Maybe I don't, Jake interrupted, his voice rising. But I need to know. You've said nothing my entire life. Maybe all of this is the reason I haven't felt whole. I have to face this. Lily placed a gentle hand on his arm. Whatever it is, we're here for you, Jake. I'm here. Jake's heart thudded as he turned back to address the woman. What do I do next? Embrace this journey and prepare for consequences you may now have to face, she said, her tone steady but haunting. As the church bells tolled once more, marking an ending as much as a beginning, Jake was struck by an unshakable thought. How far would he go for answers? What price would he pay to uncover the truth buried deep within his family's history? But would he be ready for the storm it would unleash? With resolve hardening in his chest, Jake dismissed the uncertainty lingering in the air. Whatever awaited him, he had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. Bring it on, he whispered. The gravity of his words settled in the stillness of the church, leaving him wondering what darkness would surface next. The church's stillness was shattered by a sudden rustling, a collective gasp echoing through the pews. Eyes darted around, searching for the source of the commotion. Jake felt the weight of the room, 1,000 silent gazes pinning him down as anticipation hung thick in the air. He wasn't just standing before a crowd. He felt like he was under a microscope, every breath he took scrutinized, every silent thought exposed. Jake, the woman began again, her voice steady yet laden with urgency. What you choose to do from here speaks volumes about who you really are. You're at the precipice of understanding something much bigger than yourself. He clenched and unclenched his fists, a surge of frustration coursing through him. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about every lie and half-truth. I need to know, he repeated, his voice clearer this time, punctuated with more conviction. What does all of this have to do with my mother? The woman took a deep breath, her eyes flickering to his father. The tension thickened as they both seemed to brace themselves for a truth that could rupture long-standing ties. The truth is your mother wasn't just a victim of circumstance. She was a key player in a game of power and ignorance. She made choices that shaped not just her life, but yours as well. Stop. Jake's father bellowed, desperation spilling from his lips. No more lies, no more manipulation. You're twisting things to confuse him. Jake felt his heart race as he wrestled with the conflicting embrace of loyalty and defiance. Am I confused? He challenged, looking first at the woman, then to his father. Or has everyone else been? For once, I want to hear what she has to say. We owe it to her memory. Your mother was fierce, Jake, the woman said, her gaze unwavering. She fought against the very darkness I warned you about. Even when coiled in its grip, she held on to the smallest sliver of hope for you. What does that even mean? Jake demanded, tears stinging his eyes as a swell of emotion twisted inside him. It means she planned to escape the world that threatened your very existence, an escape that led to her ultimate silence, she replied softly, touching her heart as if she could somehow convey the weight of those words. Shame coursed through him. All these years, he had yearned for a connection to his mother, only to be boxed out by the very man standing beside him. He turned his eyes to his father, a blend of hurt and determination on his face. Why did you let her carry this alone? His father's shoulders dropped at the accusation, pain flashing across his face. It was for your protection. You don't understand the forces in play. If I had revealed the truth, you would have been at risk too. But I was already at risk. Jake shouted back, anger flaring like a wildfire. Living this facade every day, this wasn't a life. It was a prison. A profound silence fell as realization crashed in waves. The groundwork of his reality was shifting beneath his feet, tremors of revelation echoing in his mind. If his father had lied about the past, what did that mean for Jake's future? What was he destined to face now that he was aware? Was he stronger for knowing, or was he more vulnerable? He glanced at Lily, whose eyes reflected unwavering support, grounding him against the tide of chaos. If we embark on this journey together, what would we risk uncovering? Everything, the woman replied quietly, her intentions settling heavily in the air. But perhaps the truth is the only path to freedom. Jake's veins pulsed with resolve, navigating through the tangled web of his life. He remembered the flicker of hope she had ignited within him, and for the first time, he let that flicker grow. Then let it begin, he declared, defying dread as he welcomed uncertainty with open arms. As the church continued to envelop them, a disquiet began to unfurl, a moment spinning on the cusp of something momentous, on the edge of wrath and resolution. Jake felt the energy crackle again, the air thick with promise. But even as he stood there, new questions began to blossom. What monsters lay in the shadows of his mother's world? With every heartbeat, the answer felt closer yet dangerously out of reach, leaving him suspended between bravery and despair. The air crackled with intensity as Jake waited, the weight of the moment hanging heavy. The silence felt almost sacred, punctuated only by hushed whispers from the pews behind him. He turned back to face the woman, searching for answers as the flickering candlelight cast flickers over her determined face. Tell me the truth, he pressed again, desperation creeping into his tone. I can handle it, she nodded slowly, a hint of sadness in her eyes. Your mother was involved with a group that sought to dismantle the corrupt powers in our town. They operated in the shadows, risking everything for change. But she also knew the dangers, and she wanted to protect you. Jake felt his pulse quicken. So she wasn't just a victim? She was fighting back? Yes, she affirmed, her voice steady. But the battle came at a cost. When it became clear her life was in danger, she made a choice to shield you from that reality. A choice that ultimately led to her death. Anguish twisted in Jake's gut. It was her choice to fight, but it was my life on the line. Why couldn't she tell me? Why didn't he stop her? A flurry of emotions flared in the woman's eyes. Jake, she believed keeping you safe meant keeping you in the dark. She loved you fiercely. That love was the heart of her choices. Jake gazed around the polished wooden church, the memories flooding back, the sound of his mother's laughter, her gentle caresses, the warmth of her presence. Yet, all those memories felt shadowed by this new reality, as if he could now see the full picture of a beautiful portrait that had been hiding a much darker background. His father suddenly stepped forward, raw regret etched into his features. I should have trusted you with the truth, Jake. I thought I was protecting you, but I see now it only pushed us apart. Didn't he understand the risks either? Didn't he understand? Jake echoed, incredulity rising. You took away my right to know. My right to be proud of her battle. The air thickened as the tension between father and son morphed from anger to a desperate need for understanding. Jake's own frustration melted into despair. He felt hollow. How can we move forward after this? By speaking her truth and by standing up against the very darkness she fought, the woman interjected, her voice unwavering. Find out who else was involved. It doesn't end here. You have the chance to honor her legacy. The thought sparked a flicker of determination in Jake. But how? Where do I even begin? Lily stepped beside him, her presence a beacon of strength. We'll figure it out together. We'll uncover everything she fought against. For her. A shiver ran through Jake, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. He had felt so lost, so alone, and now here they were, intertwined in this quest for truth. But with each step he contemplated, doubt nestled in his heart. What if we unveil something that puts us in danger? Maybe, the woman admitted. But sometimes, the truth can be your greatest protection. Are you willing to find out? He inhaled slowly, steadying himself against the weight of the moment. His heart thrummed in his chest. This was more than just a mission. This was about his mother, her spirit, and the legacy she left behind. I want to know. I have to know, Jake resolved, a newfound fire burning inside him. As he stood there, surveying the faces of those surrounding him, it hit him that every person in this room was shadowed by secrets, like a heavy fog masking the truth. Was he ready to lift that fog? What would it reveal about his mother's legacy and about his own fate? The tension swirled with anticipation, delicate yet charged, but Jake felt a shift within him. Together, they would plunge into layers of darkness. But would they emerge with light, or remnants of despair? One thought burned through him. If he took this leap, what unimaginable truths lurked just beyond the horizon? Jake's mind raced with unanswered questions. He looked toward Lily, then back at the woman who had just shattered his understanding of everything he knew about his mother. There was a battle brewing within him, fear, anger, and the flicker of hope aligned in a tense standoff. Where do we start? He finally asked, his voice barely a whisper. The woman stepped closer, intensifying the glow of the candlelight around them. The first step is finding out more about the group your mother was a part of. She confided in a few trusted allies. One of them is still around. Lily squeezed Jake's hand. Then we find them. Jake felt a rush of warmth. The idea of uncovering the secrets felt daunting yet empowering. Do you know where to find this ally? The woman nodded, a slight smile creeping onto her face. Yes, but I should warn you. They have gone into hiding since your mother's death. It won't be easy, but it's the only way to unlock the truth. Why is it so important to uncover her legacy? Jake wondered, his heart pounding. Isn't it enough to just honor her memory? Honoring her memory without the truth? The woman shook her head. That would be hollow. If you want to fully understand your mother and her choices, you must embrace her fight. Only through that can you find peace. A wave of understanding washed over Jake. His mother hadn't just lived her life in shadows. She had been a warrior, and it was his turn to carry that torch. Let us do it. I need to know. All right, she said, her tone serious. We leave at dawn. But first, you must prepare yourself. There are risks we'll face. Jake's stomach twisted at the thought. What kind of risks? The kind that could shake your understanding of right and wrong. You'll be confronted with truths you might not want to face about your mother, and even your father, the woman replied. Jake turned, looking at his father, who stood silently with an expression of not just regret, but also fierce determination. You would support me in this? After everything? His father nodded. I wish I had done more to protect her and you. The only way to amend for my mistakes is to help you find the truth and face whatever comes next together. A soft sigh escaped Jake's lips. It felt both comforting and terrifying to know they were united in purpose. He caught Lily's gaze. She was there, unwavering, ready to confront whatever darkness lay ahead. Then let us prepare, he said more firmly than he felt. The stakes felt all too real, and the weight of his choices loomed larger than before. As evening enveloped the church in darkness, Jake stepped outside, inhaling the cool night air. The stars sparkled like scattered diamonds, and he found himself thinking of his mother, of her strength, the very essence of her fighting spirit now flowing through him. But as he gazed upward, a sudden thought struck a nagging pain. What if the truths they uncovered revealed a part of her he wouldn't recognize? What if she had made choices that challenged everything he believed? Just then, a low rumble of thunder echoed through the sky, a warning of the storm to come. Jake! Lily called behind him, her voice laced with concern. Are you all right? No, he admitted, feeling the weight of uncertainty wash over him. I'm scared of what we might find. Me too, she confessed. But you're not alone in this. We'll face it together. Jake turned back, determination rising again within him. They were stepping into a world of shadows, but this time, they'd shine a light on the truth no matter the cost, and as he took a deep breath, ready to step back inside and prepare for the journey ahead, one final question echoed in his mind. What catastrophic truths would lurk in the corners of his mother's fight that could change everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and family? The next morning dawned gray, clouds lingering like shadows over the horizon. Jake stood in front of the mirror, running a hand through his hair, nerves fluttering like butterflies in his stomach. The weight of the upcoming journey settled on his shoulders, heavier than he had imagined. He couldn't shake the feeling that today might lead to revelations he wasn't ready for. Lily emerged from the small kitchen of the church with 2 steaming mugs of coffee. The aroma wrapped around him, a familiar comfort amidst the rising tension. "You look lost." She brought 1 mug to him, their fingers brushing softly, igniting a spark in the air between them. "I've just been thinking about everything." He took a sip, the warmth grounding him. "What if we find out things we can't change? Things that hurt?" Lily leaned against the counter, her gaze penetrating. "Jake, what if it's exactly what you need? Sometimes facing the pain is the only way to find healing. You know that, deep down." He nodded, the flicker of doubt clashing with a flicker of resolve. "I guess I just wish it could all be easy. Nothing worth having ever is." She offered an encouraging smile, and in that moment, he felt a surge of gratitude for her unwavering presence. As dawn broke, Jake joined the woman from the night before outside the church. Her name still hung in the air unspoken, a mysterious aura that surrounded her like the morning mist. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice steady. "Ready as I'll ever be," Jake replied, steeling himself. The trip to find his mother's ally was uneventful but heavy with unspoken tension. They drove for miles through weather-beaten roads, the world outside shifting from familiar to strange. The woman guided them, her knowledge of the area palpable. Jake glanced over at his father, who sat silent and stoic. "What if we can't find this person?" Jake broke the silence. "Then we have to trust that every step is leading us somewhere," his father said, his voice filled with a calm confidence. "Even the paths we didn't expect." They finally arrived at a dilapidated cabin hidden in the woods, overgrown with vines and moss, as if nature was trying to reclaim a long-lost secret. Jake's heart raced as they approached the door, hidden amidst the trees. It didn't feel right, but he was all too aware of the necessity of this step. "Knock," the woman said gently. Jake hesitated, his breath catching. "What if this person doesn't want to talk?" "Then we'll find another way," she said, but her eyes were fierce, holding a spark of determination. Taking a deep breath, he rapped on the door. A moment passed before an elderly man finally appeared, his face worn by years of hiding. The man's eyes widened in shock when he saw the woman. "You shouldn't be here." "Neither should you," she replied sharply. "But we need your help. It's about her." Jake felt the tension crackle like electricity in the air. The man's expression shifted from disbelief to a cautious recognition. "Her son," he whispered, looking directly at Jake. "You don't know what you're asking for." "Maybe not," Jake said, heart racing. "But it's time for the truth." The man stepped back reluctantly, motioning them inside. As they entered, Jake's heart drummed wildly. Inside those walls, secrets waited, cloaked in shadows long buried, ready to resurface at last. What awaited them there? Those hidden truths might shatter everything he thought he knew, or it could link him more profoundly to his mother than he ever imagined. As the door creaked shut behind them, Jake felt the air thicken with unspoken histories. The man turned to face them, and just before he spoke, Jake couldn't help but wonder, was he truly ready to hear what came next? The room felt heavy, laden with anticipation. Dust motes danced in the dim light, and as Jake looked around, he could sense the weight of untold stories in every crevice of the cabin. The man, weathered and wise, stood silently before them, grappling with everything that the past represented. "What do you know about my mother?" Jake asked, his voice steady yet vulnerable. The man's brow furrowed. "Your mother was a brave woman. She was involved in something dangerous, something that risks everything, not just her life, but yours too." Jake exchanged a glance with Lily. He felt her support like an anchor, grounding him amidst the storm of uncertainty swirling inside him. "Dangerous how?" he pressed. "What did she fight against?" "She fought against a corrupt organization that preyed on this town," the man said, his voice lined with regret. "They had deep roots, and they didn't take kindly to disruptions. Your mother was a beacon of hope, rallying others to rise against their tyranny." The words wrapped around Jake like fog. "And that's why she left? To keep me safe?" The man nodded slowly, his gaze dropping to the ground. Yes. She felt the heat closing in. She didn't want you caught in the crossfire. Why didn't anyone tell me? Jake felt anger simmering within him, a fire igniting under the surface. Why keep me in the dark? Because revealing the truth can be as dangerous as living it, the man replied, looking directly at Jake. You need to understand, not everyone has the strength to accept their mother was a warrior, and that the fight isn't over. As those words settled, Jake felt a swell of clarity. His mother wasn't just a victim, she was a fighter, an inspiration. And now, what do I do? He asked, vulnerability mixing with defiance. How do I honor her? You follow her path, the man instructed, gesturing around them. There are still those who wish to continue the work your mother started. It's your responsibility to ensure her fight was not in vain. Jake looked at Lily, her expression filled with encouragement. He could see it now. Every moment of uncertainty, every choice he had agonized over, led him here, to this opportunity to unleash his mother's legacy and to make his own mark. Where do I start? He questioned softly, the fire in his voice stronger than before. Start by gathering support, by talking to those who respected her. She wasn't alone, and neither should you be. The man hesitated, his eyes narrowing. But heed my warning, those same forces are still at play. They won't take kindly to those rekindling flames. Jake squared his shoulders, determination coursing through him. I don't care, he stated firmly. I'm ready to face whatever comes next. Lily stepped forward. You won't face it alone, Jake. We'll do this together. The man smiled, but sadness lingered in his eyes. Then you must go. Time is of the essence, and light will beckon as long as you keep your mother's spirit alive. Let her courage guide you. As they stepped back outside, the sun peeked through the clouds. Each ray felt like a blessing washing over him. Together, Jake and Lily walked toward the car, adrenaline coursing through their veins. The stakes had transformed, the fight was ahead of them, but Jake's spirit was undaunted. Are you ready for this, Jake? Lily asked, pause laced with genuine concern. More than ever, he replied, a smile breaking over his face. There's something undeniable about this purpose. I can't turn back now. This is for my mom. For us. They climbed into the car, heartbeats in sync with the rhythm of the journey ahead. As they drove away, Jake felt the weight of generations behind him, the shadows of the past mingling with the promise of a brighter future. And no longer in the confines of the town they grew up in, Jake was breaking free. He was unearthing the truth, ready to embrace everything that came with it, the fears, the fights, the victories. The next chapter awaited, filled with unknowns and raw emotion. Moments blurred together like the trees flanking the road, but he would face each one with love, with courage, with the indomitable legacy of his mother guiding his heart. They didn't just leave the cabin behind. They carried hope with them, hope that ignited in the face of adversity. With every turn, they edged closer to unmasking the veil that had long overshadowed his mother's fight, and Jake was ready to step into the light. This was just the beginning of their journey, their mission. The truth had awakened something deep within him. It felt both daunting and exhilarating. They'd make it through together. There was no turning back, only forward, with the spirit of love lighting the way. Now, more than ever, Jake knew that fighting for love meant fighting for connection, for roots deeply planted in promises made amid shadows. And as they drove into the horizon, a newfound purpose radiated within him. He could just sense it, the freedom of truth and the embrace of those who believed in his mother's fight. Here we come, Mom, he whispered to himself, heart aflame with resolve. You need to subscribe now to this channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending below. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.